This video is taking place from a remote location. We are in Barawa at a netball carnival. So I thought between games I would take advantage and do a video on the top 30 women's basketball players in the 2024-25 season. So if you hear the distant voices of kids in the background, that is kids playing netball out on basically a paddock. It's like an open field. It's like the inside of a race course. So anyway, now with my top 30 players, I tend to go on the side of efficiency. I think that'll come through on this list, although I'm sure I'll be a hypocrite on some and it'll be nice and pointed out. If you feel like I've left somebody off, then by all means go in the comments and let me know. So number one on my list, I think there's not many people would be surprised by this. It's Paige Bueckers, and the reason is just her numbers were unbelievable last season in terms of numbers with efficiency. So she went for 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3.8 assists, but she's one of the few guards that had a field goal percentage from the floor of over 50%, shooting 53% from the floor. Her efficient field goal shooting percentage was 60%. Her 3-point shooting percentage was 41.6%. Her player efficiency rating, her PER, was 39.8%. So she's just ridiculously good. If you look at her shot chart, she can score from all three levels. She doesn't turn the ball over much. Last season, it was 2.1, and then scoring per 100 possessions, 38.5. So she can score. Now, this year is lined up for her to have a fairy tale ending. That would be getting a championship. Hopefully, AZ Fudd coming back and her combining with Fudd and Aubrey Griffin and passing the torch on to Sarah Strong. That is the hope. Hopefully, she has good health and then she will go as the number one pick in the 2025 draft. Number two is Juju Watkins, USC, returning sophomore. She was as promised her freshman year. She carried that team, like had an extremely high usage. At times she tried to do too much, but that was what their game plan was. This year it'll be interesting as there's more talent on the team, obviously, with Kiki Iriafen transferring and Talia Van Olhoffen transferring to USC in addition with the number one class that is loaded. With her numbers, the main thing is her shoot, or not her shooting, but her scoring at 27.1 points per game. She can rebound 7.3, assist 3.3. She needs to improve her efficiency, and will that go up if she has better teammates to work with? Will her game change? That's the big question with Juju Watkins this year. With more talent, will she share the ball around more and be more of a facilitator? That is what the natural progression would be, you would think. Her field goal shooting percentage from the floor was 40%. Her 3-point shooting percentage, I think as she got tired, I haven't looked at the splits, but at the beginning of the season I think it was a little bit higher, and then she got fatigued. It came down overall to 31.9%, and then efficient field goal shooting percentage was 44.5%. Her PER was 34.9%, just under 35. Overall, that's the main thing with her efficiency. She just needs to be more efficient. You would assume that would happen. Her turnovers were a bit high at 4.8, but again, a freshman, everything was on her back, and they were a game away from the Final Four in a good game versus UConn, and you would think she would only come back stronger this year. Number three, her teammate Kiki Iriafen, who transferred from Stanford to USC. She averaged 19 points, 11 rebounds, 2.3 assists. She was efficient because she's near the basket as well. So 54% from the floor. Her efficient field goal shooting percentage was 54%. Her PER 38.8%. Last year was really a breakthrough year. She talked about how she was no longer looking over her shoulder and just letting her game, just her natural abilities take over for themselves. And at times, she was better than Brink. She's just a natural athlete. She moves really well. I see a lot of comparisons between her and Aaliyah Edwards, and the combination of her and Juju will be exciting to watch. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to gel and figure it out. But if you look at Kiki Ariaffen's numbers per 100 possessions, she averaged 40.70 points per 100 possession, and I think Juju was like 44%. They're gonna be so potent. Yeah, Juju was 44.4 points per 100 possession. They're just going to be deadly on offense, that team. Once they figure it out, the inside outside game will be amazing. It'll be a great matchup them early in the year with UConn. Number four, I have Hannah Hidalgo. She just put up, like Juju, put up sick numbers for her freshman year, and she was more efficient than Juju. So she had 22 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 5.5 assists. She shot 44% from the floor, 34% from three, 48% effective field goal shooting percentage. Her PER was 33.5. Per 100 possessions, she averaged 33.9 points per game. She was the floor general. She really filled the need with him, just stepped in with Olivia Miles out. Notre Dame did not miss a beat. She was destructive on defense just with her speed and getting steals. And the only question with her going in this season is how she and Olivia Miles will fit together. That will be interesting to see. If now with Miles back, I think you have to have Hannah Hidalgo, and at times they did this last year, but they'll have to have her playing off the ball more, and she shoots so well, she can do that, but she is just a natural floor leader, organizing people, and her game was very, very impressive as a freshman. Number five on my list is Ayoka Lee of Kansas State. You could argue that she should be higher on my list. Her and Kiki Iriafen's numbers are almost identical. I just put Iriafen in front is I think she's more fluid and has a better chance of staying healthy. I hope they both stay healthy as Lee has missed time during her career with injuries, but her numbers are devastating. So 19.7 points, 8.6 rebounds, just under an assist per game, shoots 61% from the floor, 62% effective field goal shooting percentage. Her PER is 42.1 per, that's her player efficiency rating. The question, and then if you look at it per 100 possession, her points per 100 possession is 40.7, which is exactly what Kiki Iriafen is. And if you watch her play, she's dominant inside and changes everything. And she's just a great player. Hopefully, she can remain healthy the entire season. And if that happens, obviously that bodes well for Kansas State. Number six is Aneesah Morrow of LSU. Some might say I have her too low. You could be right. Her points, 16.4 points per game, so she's not in that 19 to 20 mark. 10 rebounds per game. Obviously, she's a beast on the boards. 1.7 assists, 46% from the floor, and 47% effective field goal shooting percentage. Her 3-point shooting percentage is only 21%. And if I've knocked her down in her PER is 27.9. I've probably knocked her down a bit just for her lack of 3-point shooting consistency, as I think that's what she needs the most. And I've put in terms if you're a guard, I've boosted Hannah Hidalgo and Juju higher just because they can hit from outside, basically. But Morrow is a beast on the boards, and her numbers will undoubtedly go up because there'll be more rebounds to get with Angel Reese having gone to the WNBA as well. She'll just get more touches, and you would expect her numbers to go up and remain efficient. The one worry with her sometimes, it DePaul her efficiency, she had a beast of a freshman year, and then her efficiency went down her sophomore year just by taking more shots and more three pointers. Like she in her sophomore year, it was ridiculous. She averaged 9.7 3-point attempts and shot 25%. Last year at LSU was her lowest 3-point attempts at 2.5. Her freshman year at DePaul, she averaged 2.9. And I know at times I focus too much on the numbers, and with her, there's a danger in doing that because she is just physically a beast because she's not the biggest at 6'1", but she plays big and can hold her own on the inside. I was watching an interview with her. She developed that because her mom was the coach in high school, and she was coming off, I think it was an ACL injury, and because of that injury, she was limited to being their post player. And her mom was like, well, the one thing you can do is rebound. If you want the ball, go rebound it. And that just gave her the instincts early on. I'm going to crush the boards and be merciless on the boards because that's the way to get the ball and dominate. And it's just carried over. And when I watch the WNBA finals, she reminds me of Lainey Hamilton. I just see, when I see their games, I think they're very similar, sort of that smallish, not 6'4" player, but that 6'1" player that can be physical, clearly an athlete, and won't be moved around. And you could see her getting that role in the WNBA. Number 7, I have Milaysia Fulwiley. I have this based more on potential, and if she gets more playing time, her numbers the way they project out. Because if you look at per 100 possessions, she averaged 34.3 points. That's almost as much as Morrow. And she was efficient as well, shooting 43% from the floor, 34 from 3-point line, and her efficient field goal shooting percentage was just over, well, it was at 50% point three, and her PER was 30.8. I just think she needs more time on the court. I don't think Dawn Staley will be able to keep her off the court. I think her talent is too good, and eventually she will get more and more minutes. But it's a hard deal at South Carolina because they are so loaded. I guess that's what I'm gambling on. Her start of the season hasn't been great because she twisted her ankle in the first game. By all accounts, that's not real serious, and I'm just betting on her being too good for Dawn Staley to limit her minutes. I think Dawn Staley's going to have to give her more and more minutes because she's just that good. And the real key to her getting more minutes, Staley's put it out there, is hey, she can do the spectacular, but I want in between the spectacular, she has to do less turnovers, as her turnovers were high at 3.7. But not only, yeah, that's what Staley was saying. In between the spectacular, need you to play defense and just be consistent and know what you're doing. And as well, the other thing Staley said, I think she could be in better shape, and that's what she's really working on. And when they had their end of season talks with the players, Staley said that Fulwiley was focused on getting in the starting lineup, which doesn't mean she's going to pout if she doesn't get that. But, she was like, why shouldn't I be trying to get in the starting lineup? And that was my goal. The initial goal was just to come to South Carolina, fit in with the other players, and get minutes. She's done that. And now the next goal for her is to make the next move. And it'll be fun to watch. And I'm betting on that she will be successful in doing that. And I might take some for having her number 7, but honestly, I could see her moving up to number 3 or 2 on this list over the course of the season. Number 8 is Rori Harmon. She's much like Aneesah Morrow. Her numbers don't blow you away, but she's a two-way player. So she averaged 14 points, 5.6 rebounds, 7.8 assists, 52% shooting from the floor, 31% from three-point range, efficient field goal shooting percentage 54%, PER was 41.7. Obviously, her season was cut short by the ACL injury, so the hope is she comes back fully fit. And when she's fully fit, the thing that makes her so devastating is she's just a two-way player. The game UConn versus Texas, she was clearly the best player on the court. Gino said as much. Gino Oriema was like, yeah, she she was killing us today, and that was the case. And hopefully she can be fully fit and get to that. But that's why I'm trying to look in some cases beyond the numbers and those players that do it both ways. And I would say she is one of those players. The best part about Texas going to the SEC is we'll be able to watch her match up versus South Carolina, as I'm here for her matching up versus Raven Johnson. I think that should be a fun matchup to watch those two go at it. Number 9, I have Raegan Beers. She was she had a great season last year. 17.5 points, 10.3 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 66% from the floor, 66% effective field goal shooting percentage. She and her PER was 39.1, and she was without her a lot of times Oregon State was lost when they really hurt when she went down. They went into like a little bit of a mini slump when she took the elbow versus UCLA and was out for a period of time. And she's just that multi-dimensional big that can hold her own inside and be tough inside, but as well she can take the ball up high, and you can pass through, throw picks, and just fit really well in the Oregon State offense. The question with her is how she will adjust to the Oklahoma offense and the constant movement, and they've normally played sort of like a five out. So her being in that high tempo offense, I think it'll be fine. But it'll be interesting to see how that mix takes place and what it does ultimately to her numbers. Number 10, I have Lauren Betts, and you might say that Betts should be higher up than Raegan Beers. It depends on what you're focusing on. I think it's clear that Beers is stronger offensively. Just Beers' numbers offensively were stronger, where Betts averaged 14 points, 9.3 rebounds, 64% from the floor, versus Beers that shot or scored 17 points per game, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, and 66% from the floor. But Betts' devastation, or place that she wrecks havoc, is on defense because her height just changes everything for other teams. With Betts, the thing you want to see on the offensive end is just when they throw it to her, making a quicker decision. Sometimes it's a bit slow when it goes into her. She can get tied up in the middle and doesn't move the ball out to the open player. And that would be, but you think that's just experience and time.
Now it is over to you. Your poison, your thoughts. What did I get wrong? What is right? What is wrong? Have your say. How what an idiot I am because I did this or that. Happy for all your comments and feedback. If you've made it this far into the video, then give the video a like. All right, thanks a lot. Have a good night.